Hey gang, for some reason, when my audio starts in this episode for the first only 5 seconds, it sounds like I just took a huge hit from a helium balloon. So just a warning, but it almost immediately wears off. I couldn't figure out why it happened, but it's hilarious. So enjoy. So, you want to be a dungeon master.
So you want to be a dungeon master.
So you want to be a dungeon.
So you want to be a dungeon master.
So, you want to be a dungeon master.
That's great. We're here to help. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Justin. This week, we're going to be covering the species that a player can choose in the 2024 Player's Handbook. We'll discuss what's changed, both for the individual species and how species work in general. I mean, right off the bat, they've made a great change of calling them species instead of races. So hopefully, everything else will go just as smoothly. And if we have time, we're going to talk about how DMs can use species as well in their world building, in their games, their campaign settings, whatever. But there's a lot to go over. So let's get into it. But first... I was going to be about first. Taylor, I need you to roll a D12 and confer on this crazy table of homebrew species that I put zero thought into. And I need you to tell us one or two cool abilities that species would have. And I will do the same.
Okay, awesome. I love this. All right. It's a 5.
The best one. Arguably the best one. And I got a 10.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, boy. All right. So mine, I rolled 5. I got the living burrito. Sentient. Now, I'm conflicted because there's something that's really funny about a just regular sized burrito running around as an adventurer. And then also B, it's also hilarious to think of a humanoid sized burrito.
Right.
That jumps around, like does little yeah. So I think it's gonna be I think it's funnier to be the handheld sized burrito. So we're gonna go. They're tiny creatures with a fly speed of 30 and hover.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So you can float around and be a little talking burrito.
Yeah. Are your wings made of? Do you have wings? Number one.
No. I'm thinking
magical
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking Aqua Teen Hunger Force logic of. It's a burrito. It just kind of flies around.
Yeah. Maybe psionic in nature or something.
Yeah.
I was picturing tinfoil wings.
I want to put a restriction on the hover. You can't hover more than 5 feet off the ground. So you can zip, zap, zoop around, but the hover bit only lasts for the final 5 feet. So you're at eye level.
Right.
And then, I don't know. I think that's honestly enough. Maybe have it have telepathy too. I think that's how it talks.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so funny already. Yeah. Wow. So interesting. Yeah, you could really go in a million directions depending on what kind of burrito. You could do what they used to refer to. Now I think they usually refer to it as lineages and stuff, but they used it just for edification for people who are familiar with 2014 and older systems. They used to call it sub races, like a wood elf and a high elf. But for the burrito, you could do a breakfast burrito, a spicy burrito, or something like that.
Okay,
that way, or a vegetarian burrito or something like that. And you could introduce more specific abilities, maybe. But that's still so funny to me.
That's great.
I love it.
I'm glad. I love that was on the list, and I love that I got it.
Literally, me looking around my house and seeing the board game throw burrito. And being yeah, sure, a burrito, whatever. Yeah, I'll write down burrito. The very next one is just a little guy, because I thought that was funny too. But yeah, I got 10, which is Lost Soul, which I don't know exactly what I was thinking. I know, right? A total change from literally every other one here. But Lost Soul, wow. I think there's something to be said about maybe having some sort of connection to the ethereal plane maybe having some way of very limited, because it can get OP so fast, but like some kind of very limited use of incorporealness, you know, once a day you can go through a wall or something, like something really small. Cause again, that can get crazy fast if you let them do it a bunch.
Right.
Like Lost Soul, I'm thinking of like connections to like limbo or purgatory. This idea of like you were supposed to cross over. This is like a dead person, and their soul was supposed to go to, quote unquote, the afterlife, the upper planes, the lower planes, whatever it is in your setting, but they didn't. Something stopped them from going, maybe unfinished business. But they're also still retaining maybe most of their memories and stuff. I don't know how you would do this one completely because there's so many different directions you could take it in. But my original thought is some sort of ghost person in a way.
Yeah.
I know one of the 2014, I think it was Eberron, the 2014 supplement setting module guide, whatever, came out with the Kalishtar, which are like people who are connected to spirits, but they themselves are not necessarily spirits. They just have like a deep connection to them. But this would be a little different because it's like you are the spirit. Like it would be one of those things, which is like, I think kind of interesting. Maybe there's like some other really specific benefits. Maybe you have like resistance to necrotic damage.
Yeah.
Basic stuff,
or have the ability to do like a specter, like a fear attack. Like a spectral visage, like in Beetlejuice, where they like stretch their face out and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You can do something like that, like just to like do like an intimidation or something like that.
Yeah.
Or actually, like, I mean, it would be dope to do like once a day, like cause a frightened condition.
Yeah. Absolutely. Or even like a very small temporary madness effect. Something like that. Or yeah, I think that could be really, really interesting. Really, really cool. It truly, that is the one on this entire list that it feels so different from all of the other ones, except for maybe like number 11 is Demon Kind. Cause I was thinking like, we're going to go over tieflings and they add in and like an abyssal one, which is fine. But I'm so used to tieflings in my head of being more connected to the hells than the abyss that it's like, oh, I think of them as more infernal than abyssal. But that's just because D&D has a stranglehold on me when it comes to like really specific things like that, you know? Like it's hard for me to not think of green dragons as being really cunning and deceptive and like mastermindy. So it's like some things it's just like gotta wrap on me. It's the same when like every time we play Kids on Bikes, it's so hard for me not to depend on like quote unquote perception checks as a way to push things forward and like move from scene to scene and to like introduce the next thing is to fall back on this idea of perception checks, which in Kids on Bikes, it's like maybe a brains check. But then if you're doing perception checks as often as you do in D&D, then the people who put their higher die values into brains are just going to get way more benefits. It doesn't really make a ton of sense to do group checks because then you're just giving adversity tokens to a ton of people. It's like, there's so many interesting things about it. It's just something I've been thinking about because we've been playing a lot of Kids on Bikes lately. So, oof. But incredible, man. There are so many other ones on this list, and
slug folk, pelican person,
slug folk, pelican person, pumpkin person, goat person, snowman / snow person. I didn't want to gender it, but did think of a snowman. Flower
just
folk,
guy.
Just a little guy is one.
Just a little guy.
Gingerbread people. Number 1 is a clown.
Fun.
There's some, just really
clown
silly.
is a species.
Yeah, I was like, that would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
You don't become a clown. You're born a clown.
You don't choose the clown life. The clown life chooses you.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of species, let's get into it.
Now I'm picturing a mother clown pregnant with her baby clown and going, I can tell he's a clown. He's kicking me with his gigantic shoes. So stupid.
If I press right here, you can hear the noise. Yeah.
Oh my God, did my water break? Nope, he's got one of those flower water squirter little lapel things. God damn it. He's going to grow up just like his dad. So funny. Holy shit. Yes, let's get into it because we have
let's do it.
a bunch of 3, 6, 9, 10 different species to go over, plus some like lineages intermixed in those. These are pretty basic. We should be able to get through all of these and still have some time left over, hopefully. But if not, no worries, gang. That'll just be a future episode, so don't even sweat it.
Yeah.
Should we roll dice to see who goes first, and we'll just bounce back and forth?
Sure. Let me find a d20.
Let's do it. Ooh, that's gonna be hard to beat, my friend.
All right, yeah, especially with a 3.
That's a nat 20.
Damn.
Whoa.
All right.
Okay, I will kick us off. The first one up, and these are in alphabetical order. My favorite. If you watch the actual plays, you know that I'm a big fan of the Phoenicians and their alphabet invention. Aasimar is the first one up. Classic. We remember that being added in Volo's Guide to Everything in 2014. And I listed this for the first 3 little bullet points in every single one. It's almost identical with the exception of the size for every single one. But that I think is interesting because that means that they changed some of the speeds of some of the species that we're familiar with. So we'll see that as it comes up. But so Aasimar are humanoid. They're medium. They have a 30-foot walking speed. Pretty basic. They get right off the bat celestial resistance, which means they have resistance to both necrotic and radiant damage. I thought that was pretty cool. It's one of those things where it's like, if we're being so honest, how often do PCs get hit with radiant damage? Like, not a ton. Right. But it's still, hey, nice to have. Because you get the necrotic thrown in there too.
Damage.
Yeah. If it was just radiant,
necrotic is great.
I would feel weird. But yeah, it's both. Sick.
Yeah. Necrotic. There's a lot of really bad things that can happen to you with necrotic damage.
Yeah. Finger of Death, Circle of Death, Disintegration. There's some big, powerful spells.
Yeah.
We get Dark Vision out to 60 feet. We have an ability called Healing Hands. Is like a way weaker version of Healing Hands or Lay on Hands rather, from Paladins. Because you can only do it once per long rest. But it's a magic action. You touch a creature. It doesn't say whether or not you can use it on yourself, but it doesn't say that you can't either. So it just says touch a creature. I imagine you can do this to yourself.
Right.
But so by all means, touch yourselves. And so you can roll a number of d4s equal to your proficiency bonus. So it starts at 2. Eventually we'll go all the way up to 6. It's not a ton of healing, but it could be a nice little like last minute resort kind of thing.
And how did the verbiage change when it comes to magic actions? Can you only take one magic action per turn now, or that's it? So like if you do this, you can't do a cantrip, like a bonus action cantrip,
unless you have a bonus action cantrip. Like most cantrips aren't bonus actions, but like if let's say you had sorcery points, then you could.
Quickened. Okay,
you could quicken.
Gotcha. Okay. So
I don't see why not. I think because it's not casting a spell; it's just using a magic action. It's just they're trying to do this thing of differentiating between the types of actions, and it's, to me, it almost makes things a little more complicated. But maybe that's because I'm biased and I have all this prior knowledge. But I don't know. So Healing Hands. Then you get Light Bearer, which just means you can learn the light cantrip. That's good for some parties, especially lower level. Eventually, that'll be completely phased out as like not a big deal at all. Light and Dancing Light are 2 spells that I used to take a lot in the beginning because people on Critical Role took them, and I was like, whoa, those are cool. And then I was like, actually, 90% of the games I play in, everybody has Dark Vision. It never matters. Like, we're just not paying that much attention to the 60-foot range thing, and it's like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
But you do get it, which is nice, because you never know. You never know when you're going to need it. Then you get your cool ability. This is the big one. And a lot of the species have this kind of caveat. So you get the next ability is called Celestial Revelation. And then there's a little like note that says you have to be level 3 in order to get this ability. So levels 1 and 2, you don't have this. But once you hit level 3 as a character, like a full character, so it doesn't matter about multi-classing at all. It's your base character. As a bonus action, you can transform for 1 minute. You get to choose 3 different forms of transforming, but no matter which form you choose, a couple of things are true. The first is you can end it early if you want to. That's no problem.
Okay.
No action required. Just bang, decide to shut it off. There's also nothing written down about being incapacitated or even if you hit 0 hit points, technically. It doesn't say anything about that.
You're just transformed for 1 minute unless you end it.
Unless you decide to end it early, yes.
Right.
You can only do this once per long rest.
Okay.
When you are in this form, once on each of your turns, you can deal extra damage to a target that you have dealt damage to with either an attack or a spell.
Okay, cool.
That extra damage is just equal to your proficiency bonus, so not a ton, but it is either necrotic or radiant, depending on the form you are in.
Okay.
The first 2 are radiant. The last one is necrotic. It'll make sense when you hear what they are. So all of those things happen no matter which form you pick. And then you get to choose between these 3 forms, and you get a little extra zhuzh. The first is Heavenly Wings. Your wings pop out. You get a fly speed equal to your walk speed. Pretty sick.
Hell yeah.
Inner Radiance. You shed bright light for 10 feet. Dim for another 10 feet past that. And at the end of each of your turns, everyone, it does not say you get to choose. It's just everyone.
Okay.
Everyone in the bright light, so a 10-foot range, takes your proficiency bonus amount of radiant damage.
It's a good frontliner.
It's a great frontliner, and it's very cool because this would work in conjunction to your once per turn dealing extra damage thing too.
Right.
So you're just like an extra, let's say your proficiency bonus is a 3. That's just an extra 6 radiant damage every single turn.
Mm-hmm.
And the inner radiance part that you could potentially be hitting more than 1 people. So it's just a good way to break concentration on enemy spellcasters, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, we get Necrotic Shroud. So for this one, it says, they use the word flightless wings. I was like, lame. I wrote skeletal wings because I was like, that's way cooler. Skeleton wings pop out. Enemies. This one does specify. They said like, the way they wrote it was a little different. They wrote like non-allies. I was like, shut up. I just wrote enemies. Enemies within 10 feet must make a charisma saving throw or be frightened until the end of your next turn. And the DC for which is 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. So it's based on your charisma. That kind of makes sense.
Good sorcerer thing, good paladin thing.
Bards. I'm playing
yeah.
a Bard Aasimar in a game that's coming up, and
hell yeah,
that Necrotic Shroud looks pretty sweet.
I bet it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Not to mention the Heavenly Wings,
because that's just your normal spell save. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a bonus action to pop into these forms. So it's like, as a bard, that kind of stinks because you do actually have a lot of bonus action opportunities as a bard.
Yeah.
But hey, I think Daniel talked about airships being like a pretty pivotal part of the big chunk of the adventure. God forbid I fall off. I could pop a bonus action before I hit the ground, probably, right? Hopefully. So it's just like having that wing ability of just like, hey, maybe I never need to use wings. Maybe I don't need flying a ton, but having it in your back pocket is just such a nice like safety blanket of like, hey, I'm not that worried about height at this point because I can fly if I need to. I don't have to have like a summons who can fly. I don't have to have a magic carpet or the spell fly. I can just kind of depend on this if I need it. And if I'm in a situation where I don't, and my character also has a ton of Misty Step stuff because I'm also an Archfey Warlock. We're getting too much into my character. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I love the Aasimar. I think they're very fun. They obviously have a connection to, the Aasimar is like the tiefling version of the upper planes. Is like the basic idea, like somewhere in your lineage, or maybe it was like one of those things like how Dragonborn, or maybe not Dragonborn's not a good example, but like tieflings, it's not necessarily even that your parent was a devil or a demon. It's like maybe they made a deal with a devil and this is the result of that. So it's similar in that regard, but with celestial shit. So that's the vibes.
Cool.
I like them a lot. Big fan.
All right. Well, we're moving on next to the Dragonborn. Again, humanoid, medium, 30 feet, walking speed, normal, same out the gate. You get your draconic ancestry with this. Basically allows you to choose what type of dragon your heritage comes from, and that will decide the damage for your breath weapon and your damage resistance. That's, again, out of the box, same as 2014. You pick a color. Red is fire, black is acid, white is cold, and yep. And you get your breath weapon, again, looks pretty much the same. It's a 15-foot cone or a 30-foot line, depending on your type of breath, right? No,
you get to choose every time you use your breath weapon.
Ooh,
that's way fun. Better.
Yeah, all right. Awesome. So yeah, either a 15-foot cone or a 30-foot by 5-foot line. It's a dexterity saving throw always. And it's based on your constitution modifier. So bear that in mind in character building. It's a D10 at level 1, and then it goes up as you level up. It's 2D10 at level 5, 3D10 at 11, and then 4D10 at level 17. And you can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. And you get all of your uses back after a long rest. Breath weapon. Very, very cool.
Very cool. And they updated how the action economy of it works. It used to be your whole ass action. And now it can be one of your attacks.
Oh my God.
So if you're like a fighter dragonborn, like what the fuck?
Right.
That's insane. You're level 11, you get 3 attacks, and you can do 2 attacks, bop, bop, and then breath weapon. That's so cool. They made it way better. Because like the old dragonborn was so cool on paper, but it was like, by the time you're like level 5, it's like, why are you using your breath weapon?
Right.
You're a barbarian.
Yeah.
Like just make two great axe attacks. You're going to do
right.
significantly more damage. Unless there's like 1,000 little tiny 2 hit point things. Then maybe, I guess. But like, what else is the reason? This is so much better. And the choice between a cone or a line is genius. Yeah, it's just like, thank God. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, damage resistance as well for this. Same as your breath weapon or your ancestry as far as whatever color you pick. That's your damage resistance you get. Dark vision for 60 feet. And this is really fun. Draconic flight. Once you hit level 5 as a dragonborn, you can, as a bonus action, sprout wings for 10 minutes. And it lasts until you end it, or if you get incapacitated, they do go away. And the wings are basically, you get a fly speed equal to your walk speed. And you do this once per long rest, but still, flight. They're being all nimbly bimbly with flight in this new version.
They're being very generous.
Like everybody's getting flight. This is, I'm not upset. I like this a lot.
I'm not upset either. I guess the only thing that I feel a little bit of type of way about the generosity of giving flight this much is that, I don't know, maybe I'm basing it on our home game where it felt very cool to earn flight.
Right.
To be like, okay, you got flight around level 12. Another character got flight around level 10. Like it was like a big deal to have the players get flight. And so it kind of cheapens flight a little bit, but as soon as they started introducing the Aarakocra and other flying based like species, it was like, okay, well, if you're going to have one party in the group who can fly literally whenever they want, then it kind of immediately does it anyway, because it just is like, let's be so realistic. If you're crossing a chasm, why wouldn't the flying character bring the rope across or do a bunch of trips of carrying people or having somebody just shoved into a bag of holding? Hold your fucking breath, bud. Shove them in a bag of holding and bring them across. Like, there's nothing to stop people from doing that. So it's like, once you have one player who can fly, it already drastically changes encounters. Yeah. So I think it's fine. I'm into it. It also makes a ton of sense for Dragonborn. Of course, they should get flight. I think the only thing I do think is a little
10 minutes.
10 minutes is good
versus the 1 minute that the Aasimar gets it.
For sure. I also like that it is locked into your walk speed. Because not only does that not make it too OP, where it's like, hey, you get a fly speed of 60 feet right off the bat, and it's like, holy shit, that's insane.
Yeah.
But also, it rewards like your class decision. If you're a monk or a rogue, that's good for you. Or rogue's a little bit less so because it's rogues are very fast, not because their walking speed is good. It's because of having bonus action dashes and stuff. But like, nonetheless, still very cool. And then like, it makes sense. It makes a ton of sense. I would be curious to see if this feels, because I haven't done this with 2024. I'd be curious to see if it feels less exciting when you hit those subclass or class levels where you gain a flight ability. Like the Draconic Sorcerer. Like, don't you hit a certain level where you get like flight things? Like, would it feel not as cool because you already had a flight thing? I'm just curious. I have no idea. I'm not necessarily saying. But maybe it's just another flight thing. So now you can do it twice a day. So instead of once, maybe it is just a good thing regardless. But I don't know. Next up, we have a true classic with some tiny differences. We have the dwarf.
Nice.
It is a humanoid. They are medium, and they have a walk speed of 30 feet now.
But we will notice that different.
We will notice that as a ongoing trend. Spoilers: every species has a 30-foot walk speed.
Yeah,
I like that change. I don't care what other people say. I think the only people who have an issue with it are people who are like, "But it's not realistic. You have smaller legs. You should be slower." And it's like, do you like having fun? Do you use encumbrance too? Come on, man.
I bet you do.
It's not all about realism. It's sometimes just about having fun and also simplicity for simplicity's sake. Do you know how annoying it was every single time to be like, all right, cool. Yeah. In a couple rounds, you guys will all get there. And then having one player be like, actually, it's going to take me 7 more rounds because I only have 25 feet of, and you're like, Jesus Christ, come on, man.
Right.
It always felt like such a huge hindrance to some of those other species. So it's like, I'm so okay with it. Just everybody being at 30 feet. It simplifies things so much more. We also get dark vision out to 120 feet. We get dwarven resilience, resistance to poison damage, and advantage on avoiding or overcoming being poisoned. Dwarven toughness. Your hit point max increases by 1 for every character level. So like when you're a dwarf at level 1, your your HP max goes up by 1. When you're 2, it just goes up by another 1, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So it's just 1 for every extra level. So it's just that's very small, but it adds up.
Yeah.
It's, and then last but not least, and they improved this, I think, a lot. It was one of those things that was thematically very interesting for dwarves, but it was like so rare that it came up in like so many different types of campaigns and settings. The stone cunning ability. First of all, instead of it just being, I think it used to be like an advantage on history checks to understand the stonework of something.
Right.
You know, it was so hyper specific where it was like, hey DM, can I use my stone cunning to see like who made this stonework and this and that? It was when you make a history check related to the origin of stonework, you are considered proficient in the history skill and add double your proficiency bonus to the check. That's it. That's what it used to be. And it's like,
hooray.
Okay, well, that's really, really specific. God. Hopefully there's a lot of stonework. Otherwise it's completely useless.
Right.
Thank God. And then it put a lot on the DM to be like, okay, I guess I have to figure out what the fuck this stonework does.
Right.
What am I going to say for this? Every time there's stone columns, I have to be like, well, what if the dwarf makes a check? You know, a little annoying. They've updated it. Number 1, it's a bonus action, and you gain tremor sense to a 60-foot range for 10 minutes.
Ooh.
Now, the tremor sense has to be the dwarf. While the tremor sense is active, in order for the tremor sense to actually like work, you either have to be standing on a stone surface or touching a stone surface.
Okay.
And they make it very clear that it doesn't need to be strictly natural stone. Like it can be worked or natural. Right. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I think that's amazing. The fact that you can just be in a stone building. Maybe you're standing on like a carpet or something. It's like, okay, whatever. But you can just put your hand on the wall and feel the vibrations through the stone. That's so fucking cool.
I love that. Yeah, that's rad as hell.
It's sick. And then you can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, regain all the uses on a long rest. But yes, it is very tough.
Fun. I really like that one change. One change is awesome.
Yeah,
well, two
between
changes.
that
The
and going
better
from 25 to 30, great. The dwarf is even better. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any other like really big things. Oh, they took away tool proficiency.
Oh, okay.
But tool proficiencies
really,
are so loosey-goosey. I think they've attached a lot of tool proficiencies to your background. So there's like a bunch of little changes that happened. You're not going to see a ton of tool proficiency, or any really. You're not going to see any tool proficiencies associated with a species, because they've moved away from the idea that like this entire species has the exact same upbringing. It's why ability score increases are not tied to your species anymore. Tool proficiencies and even languages. You'll notice none of these have languages. Because I just made a character in 2024 very recently. Languages are interesting. There's a section before you even get to like in the player's handbook. It's before the classes even. It's like the first couple sections of the book. And the way languages work is you get common and 2 more languages. And you're supposed to talk to your DM to see which languages make sense, obviously, because it's like, oh, I picked Celestial, and it's like, well, that's never going to come up. So, but that is how some of those things will look different for the species across all of them.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to the next one. The elf. Humanoid medium, 30-foot walking speed. They also get dark vision out to 60 feet. And with the 2014 rules on the elf, you generally would pick a sub race of like what elvish lineage you have, which they just literally changed it to elven lineage in the 2024 version. This is basically your background of like wood elf versus high elf versus the drow. For your spells that you get with these different things, basically you are like each lineage gets its own set of like spells that it gets at a certain level, and then also they get some other little quirks about it, which is cool. I like the customizability of an elf. I've always really liked that. And so for your spells, you get to choose when you're making the character whether you're going to use intelligence, wisdom, or charisma for your spell casting with this. I think in 2014 it was always just intelligence.
I think you're right.
And then so now you get to choose your spellcasting modifier for it, which is awesome. Once you choose though at character creation, that's it. It's locked in. It's always going to be that one check. You can't change it later on. So yeah, and then you get certain spells that you can cast once without using a spell slot. And then if you do have spell slots, you can keep using the same spell. It's not like you forget like the spell.
Prepared forever, pretty much, which is sick. Right. Even if you don't use it a ton, it's always good to have more prepared spells.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into the different lineages real quick. If you go into start off with the drow lineage, your dark vision increases to 120 feet. And you get access to the Dancing Lights cantrip just for free. At level 3, you get the Fairy Fire spell. Love that spell. Very underrated. And
so good.
At level 5, you get the Darkness spell.
Another banger.
So, yeah. All of that. Loving the drow. For High Elf, you get the Prestidigitation cantrip. Makes total sense with like the High Elf kind of poshness of the high elves. It just makes sense that they'd be able to just, that's dirty, let me not be dirty anymore. And then once per long rest, or every long rest, you can replace the cantrip with another wizard cantrip. Also very dope. So
it's very
you can
cool.
just switch out a cantrip on a long rest.
Yeah, it has to be the way I wrote it is a little confusing. It has to be that Prestidigitation cantrip. Right. So like you get Prestidigitation cantrip right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Every long rest you can replace Prestidigitation with another wizard cantrip.
Right.
But yeah, it's sick. Like, I mean, it used to just be as a high elf, you learn a wizard cantrip. It's intelligence based, and that's what you get. And it was like, hey, that's cool. You get an extra cantrip, like always a good thing. Mm-hmm. But you're locked into it, and it was intelligence based. So it was like, well, unless you're putting points in intelligence, you're fucked.
Right. No,
exactly. Unless you did choose something that didn't need your ability modifier to be good, like Mage Hand. where it's like, who gives a shit if your intelligence is a dump stat?
That's why Prestidigitation was always a good one to choose because it's just a fun flavor spell. As far as spells that like actual leveled spells that you get as a high elf, you do get detect magic and at level 3, and then at level 5 you get Misty Step. That's dope.
Really, really good.
I really like getting Misty Step for free. And then for the last one, we got the Wood Elf. You get a 35-foot walk speed. Nice. You get the Druid Craft cantrip. Also cool. At level 3, you get Long Strider, and at level 5, you get Pass Without Trace. Wow. That lends itself very much to like a ranger / outdoorsy hunter class. Very fun.
You could go in so many directions. Like all of these are so helpful to just have an extra little amount of spells prepared and to be able to burn them without using spell slots. Like you could do a rogue wood elf and it would be sick. Like to have that extra little 5 feet. That's 10 feet when you use a bonus action dash. And then Long Strider adds more speed. Having Pass Without Trace as a rogue is an absolute joke. Because it's like, oh, great. I have a plus 25 to stealth. Like, it's over for everybody. Like, so it's so helpful.
All right. So that's basically the breakdown of each of the different lineages where they're different. You do get a handful of things that all 3 lineages get. Obviously, you're going to get Fate Ancestry, my absolute favorite. It gives you advantage on saves to avoid or end the charm condition. Love not being able to be charmed, or very difficult to be charmed.
Yeah, they took away the frightened. Because it used to be charmed and frightened, I think, right?
Right.
Fate Ancestry? Yeah, that was the only change.
So, yeah. Still, very good.
Still awesome, yeah.
Keen Sense, you get proficiency in either Insight, Perception, or Survival. Nice.
Oh, you know what it was? Magic can't put you to sleep. That's what Fate Ancestry was.
That's the other thing. Yeah. So they got rid of the sleep thing.
Yeah, and I didn't I kind of misdid that one. I'm not sure if it said under the trance ability if you can't be put to sleep. All right.
It says you don't need to sleep.
I know, but I don't know if I'm just curious if they changed it. My book's downstairs. I'm going to go run and grab it super fast.
Okay.
Yeah. They just changed where it was written. So
so it's written under the trance now. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to include it in our notes, but yeah, under trance it says, you don't need to sleep and magic can't put you to sleep.
Gotcha. Okay. So trance, basically the same kind of thing as 2014. You don't have to sleep, trance for 4 hours, and you retain consciousness during those 4 hours. So you're not asleep, you're just kind of staring off into the ether. But
yeah,
you don't. So long rest is 4 hours, which is nice, and also can't be put to sleep.
Yeah, it's one of those things that makes you change how you DM with a group that has like an elf or 2 in the group, because it's like that changes things of like how you do watches at night, how it's like, okay, everybody's sleeping, I'm gonna do a crazy thing, and it's like, nope, the elf is wide awake. They're trancing, but they retain consciousness. They are actively looking around. So it's like, oh, okay, that is different. It's just something you always have to think about.
But yeah, elves. Love them.
Classic.
I like the change of the spellcasting modifier. That's very nice, because it always did feel like, if you're going to go high elf, you almost have to go like wizard, just because everything's going to be intelligence based, or artificer or something along those lines, because it just feels like a waste otherwise.
Unless you're using your cantrip to just pick up like a utility one, like message or mage hand or prestidigitation or something. Yeah. Well, next up, we have what I think is one of the biggest sleepers of the entire list of species, and that is the gnome. I think the gnome is underrated because he's just a little guy. But I think he's an absolute powerhouse. This is the mitochondria of fucking of the species. The gnome is humanoid, small, but still has a 30-foot walk speed. Dark vision out to 60 feet. And then we get gnomish cunning. You have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. No mention of magic or spells. Just advantage on all of those saving throws.
Wow.
Yeah. The little note I put next to that. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's crazy talk. That's so crazy. So that was nuts. I was like, holy shit. That ability alone is like, whoa, I gotta make more gnomes. I gotta make way more gnomes. So you get gnomish lineage, kind of similar to elves. They keep doing. We're gonna see this 1 or 2 more times, but you choose one of. There's only 2, but you choose one of them. I do wish it feels like it would have been so easy for them to put the deep gnome in this list, the same way they put drow in the. I don't know why they didn't. That feels lazy to me. But anyway, you choose one of these lineages, either forest or rock gnomes. Seriously. Choose one, and then for the spells, just like the elvish lineage, you get to choose whether it's intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, and then it locks in pretty much. So for the forest gnome, you immediately learn minor illusion, the cantrip, obviously. You always have speak with animals prepared, and you get to cast it once without spell slots, actually not just once. You get to cast it without spell slots a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. Or if you have spell slots of your own, you can also burn those.
All right, cool. Nice.
So that's cool. Rock gnome, you get mending and prestidigitation.
Nice.
And they used to have an ability where you could create a little clockwork device, and it was like one of those cute little abilities that like barely anyone used and felt more flavor based than anything else. And they just kind of changed up how it works a little bit. Like it used to be like, oh, you make a device, choose one of the following options. It's either a clockwork toy, a fire starter, or a music box. And now it's like a little simplified, which I kind of do appreciate, where it's just you spend 10 minutes casting prestidigitation to create a tiny clockwork device, has an AC of 5 and 1 hit point. And in the prestidigitation spell text, you just choose one of the effects that prestidigitation can do, and that little guy can do that.
Got it.
And that's the gist. You can have 3 devices active at a time, and they fall apart after 8 hours after you create it, or if you dismantle it. Like if you choose that you want to dismantle it for some reason before creating another one. I don't know why you would ever need to do that, but I don't know. But still, just that gnomish cunning ability. Holy shit, dude. Advantage on 3 out of 6 saving throws is bonkers.
Yeah.
That's insane. If you were a fighter, gnome, you would have proficiency in strength and dex. Or is it strength and dex, or is it strength and con? As a fighter, it's strength and con, actually. Yeah. Strength and con. And then you have advantage on all of the mental ones. It's like, what is going on? Like an Eldritch Knight gnome goes hard, dude. That's an idea. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's move on.
All right. Next class is not class. Jeez. Species. That's the word I'm looking for. Next species we got is the Goliath. You are a humanoid, medium-sized, 30-foot walk speed. Surprise. The Goliath has a thing called giant ancestry, and it basically is a list of things that you can do. You can choose one of the benefits, one of these little effects, and they last, or you can use it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest.
Yeah, it's like it's the same as any of the other ancestries or lineages. It's like Goliaths are connected to giants, right? So it's like, what type of giant did you come from? And so once you pick one, you're locked into that one. You can't like switch each time or like choose one this day and then tomorrow choose the fire giant thing. It's like, no.
Right.
If you come from cloud giants, you do the cloud giant thing.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So you get this ability you can use a number of times per long rest. For cloud giants, it's called Cloud's Jaunt. It's a bonus action. You can teleport 30 feet up to a space that you can see. Free Misty Step. Love it. Here for it. Fire's Burn. Obviously, fire giants. When you hit a target with an attack roll and deal damage, you can add a D10 of fire damage. Cool. Frost Chill, same deal. You hit a target and deal damage, you can add a D6 of cold damage, and you reduce its speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. Very fun. The Hills Tumble. When you hit a large or smaller creature with an attack and deal damage, that target goes prone. No saving throw, it's prone now.
Mm-hmm.
That's broken.
Yeah, a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, where you can just make a creature large or smaller go prone. It's crazy.
Yeah. You also, the next one is Stone's Endurance. If you take a damage, you can use reaction to subtract a D12 plus your Constitution modifier from the damage. Okay. It feels like the monk's new deflect attacks ability. As opposed to deflect missiles, it's just deflect attacks. You use a reaction and you can stop or take a bunch of damage off of it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Goliath in 2014 had Stone's Endurance, but it was like they were kind of coming from the idea that all of the Goliaths come from stone giants.
Right.
And I guess they just changed their thinking of how Goliaths work.
Right.
Which is why now there's like a ton of options you can choose from. But
I love that. Storm's Thunder. When you take damage from a creature within 60 feet, you can use your reaction and deal a D8 thunder damage to that creature. Very fun stuff.
Yeah.
All of those abilities I like, and they all would play well into a bunch of different classes.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a whole lot of versatility here, and I really like that.
Yeah.
A lot of ways to make this particular build feel like its own thing. To have two of the same Goliath would be crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool, actually. There's like so much you could potentially do with it, depending on... This is going to be another reason that you need to be so interesting about how you use... I use the word interesting. Doesn't really make sense there. You need to be so smart about how you use rests.
Right.
You know? And like how often you're letting your players rest. Because if you're letting them rest too often, at the higher and mid levels, you're going to get fucked. Because your cloud giant Goliath is going to be able to Misty Step all over the fucking place. And that doesn't include if you're an Archfey patron warlock and a cloud giant Goliath, you get free Misty Steps. You'll have like 10 free Misty Steps every long rest. Like it's literally insane. And then on top of that, for like the things like the fire giant and the frost giant ones, where it's if you hit and deal damage, you get to do this extra damage. There is nothing in there that says once per turn.
Right. So you can add
you could burn
every single one as long as you have
things.
All of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're a monk or something and you do flurry of blows and all this stuff, or you're a high level fighter and you do action surge, in theory, if you felt like you could, or you wanted to end the combat faster or something, you could do this to every single attack. As long as you're dealing damage with the attacks, like if for some reason you're hitting like a creature who is immune to whatever you're doing, then it won't work. I like that they add that little
you don't have to
thing in there.
Burn it and miss, which is another thing.
Yeah, it has smite vibes.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So that's all the ancestries. Every one of them, like we were just saying, is the opportunities are endless with this one.
Yeah.
Then we move on to level 5 for a Goliath. You gain your large form. You can change into a large creature as a bonus action. It lasts for 10 minutes or until you end it. You gain advantage on strength checks. Your speed increases by 10 feet, and you can do it once per long rest. So, large form. Very, very cool. I love the boost.
Yeah,
isn't there a
thematically
super
like a
barbarian
interesting
class that lets you do that, or is it a Goliath? Is it strictly a Goliath thing?
No, I think it is a barbarian, because they did, or maybe the fighter, they did the Rune Knight. Might be that one that we're thinking of. There was a couple of added giant based fighters or like subclasses and stuff, and I do think that there was there's the Rune Knight where I think you can kind of grow bigger. Maybe there is a barbarian one, or was a barbarian one.
I wonder if there's
could
one
also
that
do that. I forget.
I wonder if it would stack. I don't know. I'd have to look into it. But go to huge creature.
They are really specific in this for the Goliath, at least. They're very specific. It's like the ability itself is called large form, not even bigger form. It's large form, and it says you change your size to large. It doesn't say like you grow one size bigger or anything like that. It's very specific.
Yeah, I'm wondering if
hopefully the subclass is very specific. Otherwise, yes, you're right. It leads to the potential of stacking. The thing I think is interesting before you say the last ability for Goliaths, and this is so tiny, it's not that big of a deal. It's just something I find interesting from a game design standpoint. The Hills Tumble Giant Ancestry. When you hit a large or smaller creature with an attack and deal damage, that target goes prone. For some reason, I think it would be more interesting if it was like when you hit a creature of one size larger or smaller. Yeah. Because then when you grow larger, it makes sense that you should be able to make a huge creature go prone.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a tiny thing.
I like that.
I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. That would be very...
It'd be
as long as it's
insane.
Talked about up front. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, and last thing for the Goliath, you get the powerful build. Gives you advantage on saving throws to end the grappled condition. And you do count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity. But let's be honest, who uses encumbrance anyway?
Almost no one. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, but it just is. It depends on your style of play and stuff like that. I almost never play at tables where that happens, and it's not because I like absolutely refuse to. It's just because I haven't met anybody who really uses it.
Right.
You know, it takes a lot of the fun out of the game. It puts a lot of impetus on strength, where you're like, okay, but I don't want to put points in strength. Like, why do I have to? I remember that almost happened with Pathfinder with Lance.
Right.
Our friend who's running the game for Taylor and I in a different home game where we're both players in a Pathfinder 2e game. When we first started, and it was Pathfinder 1 first edition, when we very first started, he was considering doing encumbrance and carrying capacity, and I remember being like, "That sucks, man." Like, I legitimately like. I can't wear armor. I can't do that. I have to put so many points into strength, an ability I will never actually want to use, just so that my character can wear armor. Like, this is insane. This is not fun.
Yeah.
Which means I can't put points in the abilities that actually matter for my character, which is intelligence.
Exactly.
Everybody was dumping charisma because it was like, well, charisma actually has like almost no use except for social encounters, because none of us are charisma based casters. So it was like, it just was like, okay, great. So none of us can talk to people, but we can carry things. And it was just like, that's so annoying and stupid. And I was like, ugh, I hate that. So that's just a personal opinion, but there's ways to do it that is more interesting. But I think if you're getting really, really nitpicky about it, it can sap some of the fun away. But for me, it's for our games, it's usually just... Go for
count
it.
Gold as
gold
as encumbrance.
The carrying weight, of gold, which is like fair, but it's like, yes, gold is very very heavy. I've watched enough heist true crime documentaries to be like, people do not realize how heavy money is.
Right.
That is always really funny when they're like interviewing the robbers of like a huge heist deal that went down, and they're like, dude, when I got out of the car, I went into that safe. I grabbed those 2 big bags of money, and I was like, holy shit. We're fucked. We're not going to be able to carry all this. And it was like, yeah, dude, you guys didn't think that? Like, what? You guys planned this thing so well.
No, money is weightless.
So funny. Okay. Next up, we have the Halfling, an absolute sweetie.
Yeah.
Humanoid, small, 30-foot walk speed. The interesting thing is that they did take away the, I want to say that it was like the Stout and the other one, Lightfoot. There was like the 2 sub races of Halfling. They just kind of combined them, and now it's just one, which I'm fine with. It was like one of those things where it was like, this doesn't feel like that big of a deal to really need to make it 2 different things. But maybe from a thematic standpoint, but I don't know. You get the Brave ability, advantage on saves to avoid or to end the frightened condition. We get Halfling nimbleness. You can move through the space of any creature one size or more larger than you, which will be most of them. But you cannot end your turn in the same space. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's actually such a cool ability. It's a little underrated because it's not going to come up that often. But like, man, when it fucking does, depending on the map that the DM chooses, like there's going to be so many opportunities that moving through an enemy space is like so fucking clutch.
Yeah.
So clutch. We also get luck, an absolute gem. If you roll a natural 1 on any D20 test, then you can re-roll the D20 and you must use the new roll. The way I read that, if you roll a nat 1 again, you have to use the nat 1.
That one counts. Yeah.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we get naturally stealthy. You can take the hide action even when you are only obscured by a creature one size larger than you. So
nice.
You're just a little bit better at sneaking because you're a little guy. That makes sense. I like the halfling. The halfling is really good. Yeah. If you've ever read
Didn't seem like they changed a whole lot other than, like you said, they just kind of mushed the two sub races together.
Yeah, 100%. If you ever read the Dragonlance series, they have like, I don't know if they're called halflings, but they have like a halfling species in that game, like, or in that book series. It's very like quintessential D&D adventuring party group, you know, like you have the main guy is a half elf who has a little bit of facial hair, and it's like, whoa, an elf with facial hair, crazy. And then you have like the human wizard. The human wizard is like frail and like tainted by his powerful magic, and it shows him casting, I think he actually casts a ball that in the book they call fireball, and it like takes a lot out of him because it's like spell slots. It's like written in such a way. I mean, the book came out at around the same time that Dragonlance and Kryn, the setting modules, were coming out for older editions of D&D. They did this really incredibly, it's smart, very smart from a marketing standpoint, where they worked with authors, came out with a series of novels around the same time that they published the setting modules. So it was like, you kind of got both. It was like, holy shit. Like, imagine if Brandon Sanderson came out with the Stormlight Archives, but also as a TTRPG around the same time that you were like just reading the series. You'd be like, oh, fuck, this is right up my alley, you know? So smart. But that's a halfling. There's a halfling in that book is why I brought it up, but he's sick. He's so funny. He has like the fearless thing. They even work that in of like all the people are like, oh my God, there might be a dragon. And the little halfling's like, who gives a shit? Let's go check it out. It's so funny. I love it. And he has luck, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, he has the luck thing too. They don't call it like these exact terms, but he has like, he's like unnaturally lucky. Like he just, whoa, that was a close one. And you're like, so it's really fun reading those series. I highly recommend.
All right, let's get into our next one. The human. You're humanoid. Makes sense. Medium 30-foot walk speed. That was a dumb joke. You get the resourceful feat, which gives you heroic inspiration after long rests. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, just a reroll.
That's just a reroll on once a day. You get a reroll. That's real nice. You gain skillful, which is proficiency in one skill of your choice. And then you also get an origin feat through the versatile trait. So picking feats and getting extra proficiencies, pretty standard human fare. That's just how they've been run for a while. This one's pretty open and shut. The only real big difference is the heroic inspiration, which is dope.
Yeah. And like, because they changed feats, the versatile thing is a little different.
Yeah.
You know, because it used to just be like you get a feat and you could choose any feat.
Right.
But now it's like you have to choose an origin feat.
Gotcha.
So there's like, it significantly limits how crazy you can get. You can't get Warcaster right out of the gate, you know?
Right.
It's like skilled magic initiate is probably the one I would choose most often, because it's just like, doesn't matter what class I am, I get shield. Or some shit like that, right?
So nice. It's very
gonna
nice.
be a big
magic
one.
Initiate. I love
you could get the lucky feat. Skilled, I think, gives you like 3 proficiencies in 3 different skills. There's like the chef one, the healer one. There's a couple of others, but they're all pretty basic. Magic Initiate is like hard not to pick.
Yeah.
I think it's like
especially because Magic Initiate I think comes with a ability score bonus too now, doesn't it?
No, none of the origin feats do.
Okay.
Only the other ones.
Got it.
Like the ones that you can only get at level 4 and above. Those ones have the +1 to something. But
gotcha.
No, Magic Initiate is like it's only from like the wizard, druid, cleric spell lists, I think. But then you get to choose 2 cantrips and a first level spell. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's still like
I'm picking wizard. We're taking Prestidigitation, Minor Illusion, and Shield.
See, it depends on the class because I picked Magic Initiate for my Bard Warlock, and I'm a Valor Bard with the sword fighting and stuff. And I chose Booming Blade because I am at the level where I can replace one of my attacks with a cantrip. So I can do like a normal huge attack and then do, hey, my second attack, Booming Blade.
Right.
Bonus action, Misty Step out of there. And now you have to come fight me. And which is going to do the extra damage. So it's just like, woof, bonkers. So I did a Mage Hand, because you never know when you need a Mage Hand.
That's very true.
Or maybe I did Message. I can't remember. I did one of the two. I'm huge fans of both of those spells. They're so good from a utility standpoint. And then Booming Blade, and then I picked Shield. Because I intentionally have a not intentionally, but like kind of as a matter of fact, just have like my AC, I think, with a +2 from my Staff of Power, I only have a 16 AC. So Shield is like pretty nice.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, my Dex is only a +2. We got such amazing magic items, but I chose a Cloak of Displacement, a Ring of Evasion, and a Staff of Power. So I have a lot of defensive abilities. My AC just isn't one of them.
Right.
You know, like every attack is at disadvantage. I can use evasion a couple of times, even though the Ring of Evasion is different than the evasion that like monks get, because it's just you auto succeed on a dex save, so it'll just be not as good, but still better than failing. But anyway, the Orc.
Onwards.
An interesting thing that they've done here, and I'm kind of okay with it. I feel pretty indifferent either way, but I think it makes sense from a certain standpoint, is they've gotten rid of specifics when it comes to half elves, half orcs. You'll notice that we don't have any of those. It's just you're a human, you're an elf, or you're an orc. And if you want to play as a quote unquote half orc, half elf, whatever, I think they got away from it because of like the potential for like weird people to just make it weird.
Problematic. Yeah.
It can be.
It has the potential to be problematic.
That's the unfortunate thing, is that there are people out there who make it problematic where it's just like, oh, I'm just playing a character who has an elf mom and a human dad. And it's like, oh, that's normal. That's not a big deal at all. But then people are like, oh, but my half orc dad, they hate us. And so then it's like, okay, what are we doing? Yeah. Now you're making it weird. But anyway.
Yeah, right.
We have the orc. Humanoid. Medium. 30 feet.
What?
I know. Classic. We get a cool ability called the Adrenaline Rush. As a bonus action, you can dash. And while you do that, you gain a proficiency bonus amount of temporary hit points.
Word?
And you can do that a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, recharging on a long rest.
Word?
Which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bonus action dash and a little health boost as you just like rush into combat. Adrenaline rush is the perfect word for it. That's pretty dope. Yeah. We also get dark vision out to 120 feet. Pretty advanced. And we get one of the, like, it's just such a good ability. We get Relentless Endurance. When you're reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, instead you can drop to 1 hit point. And you can do that once per long rest. An absolute banger of an ability. So helpful. You never know when it's going to come up, but man, it is awesome.
How would that play against something like Disintegration Ray or something like that? Where would you... Because it says...
The way I would...
Like, because like those spells are like, if it reduces your HP to 0 with the spell, you are killed.
Right. The way I would run it is if I use Disintegration on an orc and the orc still had this ability in the tank, you know, they haven't used it yet, then I would say, okay, it puts you to 0, but you pop back to 1, and so you're not disintegrated. But then if for some reason he uses it again, then you're fucked. That's how I would play it.
Okay.
But on the converse side, if I used power word kill, you're fucked. Or if I did so much damage that it exceeded your hit point maximum kind of thing.
Right.
That would be different as well.
Right, because power word kill isn't like it reduces the creature's HP to 0. It says they are killed.
Yeah, it's just you're killed. So I think that would be how I would rule it. But I think I wouldn't I think if you have a orc at your table, talk to them about this, because who knows if it'll come up or not. But also, I also I don't hate the interpretation of no, it reduces you to 0, and so you're disintegrated. It's it's pretty harsh, but okay. I'm not no, that's wrong. It's just it feels like just a different interpretation, maybe a harsher one, but I don't think it's wrong necessarily. But yeah, I'm always a softie when it comes to shit like that. You know this. I hate killing PCs.
Yeah.
The only time I get really kind of intense is actual plays when I know the players can handle it, mechanically at least. Which is why it's I know 2 players have counterspell. Here comes 9th level meteor swarm. It's I know you guys can counterspell it, so it's I don't feel as bad. Thank God you guys had portents as well during that fight. That episode's not out yet. You'll have to watch the actual play, gang. But let's get into our last one.
All right, let's do it. The last one we have on the list is the Tiefling. The Tiefling is obviously going to be humanoid, medium, 30 feet, bang, bang, 60 foot, dark vision, and you get your Fiendish Legacy. This is kind of because the Tiefling is a cross between somebody from the material plane and the infernal planes, right? Or does it have to be infernal?
No, it used to be. It used to just be you get infernal stuff. Everything that you see for the infernal legacy is what you used to get. And then they changed it now to any of the lower planes. So it's more tieflings are lower planes mixed with material planes, and Aasimar are upper planes.
Celestial. Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So you get your Fiendish Legacy. You're going to choose one, same as your Elvish lineage, same as pretty much every other lineage that we've gone over in the past. You're going to get to pick Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma for your spellcasting modifier. Once that's locked in, you got it. That's it. These are all basically the same. And you do get some spells that you can cast once without slots, and then again if you have your own slots. And what spells you get depend on what legacy you take. For the Abyssal Legacy, you get resistance to poison damage and the Poison Spray cantrip. At level 3, you're going to get Ray of Sickness, and at level 5, you get Hold Person. Cool. The Chthonic, which I'm assuming...
No fucking clue.
Yeah, this would be your Great Old Ones and stuff like that. The Lovecraftian horror types.
Interesting.
Like Cthulhu. Yeah.
Oh, true. I guess it does feel very similar to that word.
Yeah. So you're gonna get resistance to necrotic damage and the Chill Touch cantrip. Level 3, you get False Life, and at level 5, you get Ray of Enfeeblement. And then obviously the last one is the Infernal Legacy. That's going to be resistance to fire damage, the Firebolt cantrip. This gives you a Hellish Rebuke at level 3, and then at level 5 you get the Darkness spell, like that spell. Also, Hellish Rebuke is very nice.
It's a great spell. But in the past, it was so annoying because I think it used to be tied to your charisma modifier.
Right.
And so it was well, hopefully you're a bard, tiefling, otherwise, which, let's be honest, so many tiefling bards out there. But no offense, I love you guys. But a bunch of gay people playing D&D, and we love you because I'm one of you. But so many bi tieflings exist in this world, and they're all beautiful. But no, it was it's so annoying to be oh cool, I have this reaction spell that I can do damage back to somebody who attacks me, but hey, it's a saving throw thing. So it was
right.
well, it's a 12 and we're
Right,
level 15.
right.
So it was like, okay, well, not that big of a deal.
So now you can tie it to whatever your normal spellcasting modifier. And then the last thing that every lineage gets, or legacy, what have you, is Otherworldly Presence, which gives you the Thaumaturgy cantrip. That's the fun one that gives you, like, you can change your eye color, or you can make your voice super loud, or that type of deal.
100%. So these are all pretty good changes for the most part, right? Like, I can't think of a ton of like changes that I saw that I was like, ooh, I don't like that they changed that. It seems like all of them are good.
I like that they've removed the ability scores from them and
Big
have
time.
put them on to other stuff, because
it's on the background.
A lot of times
now,
in 2014, I feel like I'm locked into a specific species just because I had like the stats line up that way. I know we haven't played like that in forever.
I know. Even before Tasha's, we changed out from that. But yes, we haven't done that in a long time. But it's nice that they've made it normal for that to be the case. Same with like a bonus action potion drinking. Like, it's nice that they've taken what the entire community kind of has been doing already and been like, okay, fine, we'll make it a rule. And it's like, about time. And then the other nice thing is just the move away from this idea that all of these species have to, like, because you're an orc, you know these languages and you must be strong, and like obviously going back to the ability score thing, but even not from just a mechanical standpoint, but from like a thematic and world building standpoint, the idea that not all orcs are the same, not all elves are the same, not all dwarves are the same. Like, you can be entirely a unique person. Just because you're a dwarf doesn't mean that you just inherently have an amazing constitution or something like that. Like, I like those moves because I think you're right. It made a lot of people feel pressured to pick specific things to be optimized, because you still see, like, if I'm on YouTube, I still see videos of people being like, here are the races you have to pick to be these classes. And it's like, how sad is that? Like, do you, if that makes you happy as a player, like, by all means, do whatever you want. But it makes me sad to think of how much creativity is being squandered for the sake of numbers, where it's like, well, I have to pick this so that I have the bigger numbers. And it's like, yeah, but doesn't a gnome barbarian sound cool as hell? It sounds pretty cool, man. Because it breaks the norm, it breaks the trope, it goes against the expectations. That's why it's cool. It's interesting too. I know that they're gonna continue to add a ton more species, like all of the species that people love that they just didn't put in the book, because you simply, like, to a certain degree, I understand, like, how big do you want the fucking book to be? Like, of course they couldn't just put every single species in, but like, I gotta be honest, when I saw that, like, Goliath they made the Goliath fucking cool. I'm not mad that the Goliath's in here. But the fact that Tabaxi is not in here did make me a little sad. I love Tabaxis, especially as a cat person. We're both cat people, really, right? So it's like, dude, you got to put the Tabaxi in there. What are you guys doing? Man, I love the Tabaxi. But yeah, I hope that they continue to add cool stuff and not put everything behind annoying digital paywalls, and hopefully pay artists well and not use AI slop. So hopefully all of that happens. Now, in a future episode, we're going to go over how the Dungeon Master can use all of this information about species, both from a standpoint, like a mechanical standpoint of like, hey, you have a dwarf in the group, they have stone cunning, get ready for that. Or you have a bunch of elves and they're very good against charm and they can trance. Here's how to deal with that in a way that can both highlight it and also maybe work against it every once in a while. But also I want to do an episode, and this is just setting up for the future, because we, as per usual, we went into tangents, mainly me this episode. But I also want to talk about how to use the established, like, lore of species and how to incorporate that into your world building, your setting, your campaign, your plot, and if you should do it. Like, for example, like in Sphinx City, there is no lore about species, and never comes up. I don't give a shit how orcs were created. I don't give a fuck about bugbears or this. Like, I don't care about the relationship between high elves and wood elves. It literally doesn't come up ever, and that's the point of it. I intentionally did that with Sphinx City. It's a beautiful, perfect utopian melting pot that's being fucked by capitalism. And that's what it is, right? And in this world, capitalism is bad and disgusting and evil, but it just so happens to not be racist, which is like a pipe dream. That's not the case, but in Sphinx City it is, because I'm white and I want to be really careful and thoughtful about how I do things. But anyway, so I want to do an episode in the future where we dive deeper into species, but not from just a mechanical standpoint. From all kinds of things.
This is the mechanics episode. We're gonna get into the RP side of things on another.
Just keep watching, gang. And oh, by the way. Also, we have a Patreon, and it is incredible. If you like the podcast, then you're going to love the bonus action. And if you like our actual play stuff, then you're going to love the Action Surge, where we talk with the players about all kinds of things related to the game, related to totally random shit that we think of in the spot at the heat of the moment. There's so much fun content on there. There's free homebrew stuff just for following us on Patreon. And then there's extra homebrew stuff that you get at the tiers. You get shout outs at the end of the episode, which is about to happen pretty soon. Those are some incredible people. And so just check it out. There's links in the description and all those kinds of things, because how else would you guys know that we're sponsored by Big Tap? Thank you so much, Big Tap, for sponsoring this episode. Water, H2O.
Okay, that's all we can get into this time. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at SoYouWannaBeadm, or you can ask us a question at SoYouWannaBeadm@gmail.com. If you like the episode, don't forget to give us 5 stars and a review wherever you found us, and check out the Patreon, the Twitch, and our merch with the link in the description. Join us next time for more Dungeon Master tips and tricks.
Bye.
See you.
And now, I have the honor of giving a shout out to the members of our Patreon gang. Nutmuffins, may Palor's light shine upon you. Marsavies, have you watered your flesh prison lately? And then there's Elijah, Molly, Tappy, and Linguini. Gang, we appreciate and love you. Tune in next time for more tips and tricks from So You Wanna Be a DM.